So I had this idea, an idea that may be far-fetched, maybe not. Who knows? Nobody knows when you can come into money. Something could get successful, something could happen, and you could have a lot of money. But what if I had $1 billion? I would create a WNBA team.
I got the juice, I play for hours. Coldest thing running, unlimited power. Doing my thing.
Where I would put that WNBA team would probably be a place where there isn't a team structure or hasn't been a team structure. I saw a video where Dawn Staley was like, hey, bring back the Charlotte team. I would say so too. Put one in South Carolina or put one closer to the college. That way, like she said, and I've been thinking and talking about for a while on social media, you already have a fan base that is built in for women's basketball, that is built in for people that are fiending for a pro team. South Carolina doesn't have a team, anything. You got semi-pro, but I mean, everybody wants to say, "Oh, the Panthers and all this other stuff." That's North Carolina. Bring a South Carolina team so that teams have a place to come and cheer. Because you have the Clemson fans too. They're looking for success. So you have that. You have the structure, the bone structure for that. And you even got Dawn saying, hey, I'm going to come up there if you have one. So if I'm a billionaire, I'm putting one in South Carolina, not just because I'm from South Carolina. Then from there, me personally, I'm going to social media and I'm going to Twitter, Instagram, anywhere I can find it, Threads, and I'm going to look for some of the best people to mock up my jerseys. The best people to get the name, to get everything this just matches and is amazing, because I know that the internet is made up of people that do much better than whoever these pro teams have hired. It's insane sometimes. Like, they come out with new jerseys, no matter it's men or women, and it's just like, who did you talk to about these jerseys? Like, what are we doing here? So I think if you go and look for somebody who is, or some people, a group of people that can create you something awesome, I think that's where you have success. Maybe poll for the name, because obviously you want people to be involved, and that's the biggest part of this at the end of the day, because the people, we are here to be entertained. So I think we should have some kind of say so in the ideation process. My next move then, because I want to support local businesses and stuff like that, I think a lot of the food, a lot of the art, a lot of the entertainment, a lot of the vendors are going to be made up of local people. Depends on the distance, whether they want to travel and what kind of deals and stuff. I still don't know that side of things, but I would love to have a gym, a stadium that is locally made. So obviously you build the place, the facility, everything and all that. You got, everything on site. Or I mean, I guess the NBA teams and stuff like that, the bigger teams, they have stuff in a different city or whatever, but like they are just everything that's supposed to be there that helps the coaches and the players be comfortable. And then for everything that the consumer wants and needs, it's going to be locally made, locally done. And if I don't have enough to fill everything out around, or however you have it set up, then that's when you bring in, the bigger names of things like your Wild Wings or whatever and things like that. That would be later on, but I would definitely want it to feel like there was a hometown feel vibe to the entire process. Then from there, I would sprinkle in, don't kill me for this, but I would sprinkle in social media people throughout scouting, coaching, and obviously clearly the social media teams, because the WNBA again hires and has people employed that just don't do things well. And I think just the WNBA doesn't do rollout well. I get a lot better information from people who dig up and find things on their own, or people who announce things on their own. Like I noticed last year, the awards and stuff was just disjointed and just kind of awful in terms of how they rolled it out. A lot of that stuff was just kind of just like, eh. But this team would announce things and do things well on time, and it would look good. And I would have to, like I said, I would have to pull people from the social media side to do that, because I think that's where the best ones are. Now, for actually filling out the bones of those staffs, the top dogs, so head scout, head coach, assistant coaches, the ones that are higher up on the pecking order that would be in charge of those guys and things of that nature, I would go after NBA legends with the experience or the mind for that, because for every good coach or whatever, or GM and all that, you have ones that aren't good. So I wouldn't just be going to hire legends and things like that because of name only. Maybe in consultation positions and what's the word? Advisory positions, but not solid positions if that person isn't up to taking the job. So obviously I would have to have a group of consultants just to consult me, but I would definitely want to fill those staff positions out from GM to coach and all that jazz, scouting, medical, all that, with people that have the proper background for that. Because not only is that important to continuing to feed back into the league with the legends and the people that came before, but it does well for the women that are coming up. Because you see it on, like, again, the men and the women's side, when you have a structure that isn't that great and you bring in a talent, maybe not a top 10 to 15 guy or girl, but a 15 and beyond that you could find a star with, but you don't have the proper structure, because a lot of it comes from the person having talent, but a lot of it comes from what happens when you have the people there that can nurture the player to be the best that they can be. Obviously, the person has to be a workaholic and somebody that wants to work on their craft and their presentation and things like that. But at the end of the day, it also helps to have somebody who's been there, who can teach, who knows them positionally, not somebody who's going to try to teach them to be a position that they're not. A lot of the times I watch player podcasts and all this other stuff, and it always comes down to the fact that somebody tried to make them be something they're not. So I would definitely stress that in terms of player development. You see a lot of the times people have more success when they have a better in-house player development, but then you got the guys who just like, I'll throw money at anybody who wants to come and play and build a team with money and just a great staff that way. But then that way you don't, those are the people who would poach from the teams who develop well and go that route. So if I'm a rookie, I wouldn't want to come to that team, because then I'm just going to sit and maybe not be developed, or, have to hope that I can have success without all the tools in the toolbox. So yeah, I would build my staff, my roster through them, support locally owned businesses, and put this WNBA team somewhere for success. And my other kind of thought process to continue to be like locally supported would be like, if we're still doing the ad space on the jerseys, I would do a local mid to big, like it would have to be contained within the state, company on the jerseys that flowed well with what was already there, and then even have like a contract and say, we'll use you as a like put you on the jersey for a specific amount of years, and then switch out to another one to continue support businesses constantly. But like I said, a local vibe. And it doesn't just have to be South Carolina. It could be another place where there's a big hub for women's basketball, but not or not just women's basketball, but basketball in general, to where there will be support. So it's not just you throwing somebody out there to Timbuktu and just waiting for or asking for them to fail. Because there's been a lot of teams that are trying to get those investor groups together to bring teams back while the iron's hot. And while I love that, I think that the hastiness of it and just throwing a team out there with a cookie cutter, this is my team, this is my name, this is my whatever, and here we go. Like, I think there needs to be more work put in. I'm not saying these guys don't work. I'm not going at people who create teams and stuff like that, but I think that we can do better. I really do think that we can do better. And this is sports as a whole. I would apply everything I just said to every single thing that I've listed. And even all the way down to like the local talent and stuff, which I think teams do maybe a better job at that in terms of like anthem singers. My mom is an anthem singer for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and she does a wonderful job, but she's local. And that's kind of, I think, what you got to keep it. Get your announcers, local voices that people know and understand and love at other events and stuff, and say, hey, we'll pay you to come and be here during these games or whatever and announce and make the people feel like they're at home. I think that's the biggest part of it. I think the Toronto Tempo have showed us that we can be better, but I'm not going to go after them and say they aren't going to be able to create great facilities, great coaching staffs and all that, but the way they rolled out their look left a lot to be desired. And you have a lot of people that are just like, oh, I could have made better than that. And they did make better. Like, it's not like people are out there talking junk just to talk. Like, they're actually doing better. So Portland has some big shoes to fill just from an expectation standpoint. They're holding everything close to the vest, but they're also coming the same year as the Tempo, but nothing has been released. So I'm very interested in that. Again, like I said, hey, if y'all listening out there, bring me on. Let me get in on there. I would love to. I'd love to come out there in Portland and bring my whole family. Like, let's do this. But yeah, if I had $1 billion or however much it took to be majority in control of everything that happens, I would love to build an entire front office, an entire organization based off of supporting our legends of the game, supporting local wherever the team goes, and just doing it right for the past, the present, and the future when it comes to your prospects, when it comes to your current people in the area of the team, and when it comes to the past, when it comes to the people that paved the way for this game to be successful and made the game what it is today. I would love to just do all of that legit. So if anybody wants to give me $1 billion and join this bandwagon, let's get it, because I think that's where you have success. I think that's where this new wave of teams, like, I don't know if we expand to 30 teams or so, but I think where people are trying to push now, what somebody said is like 9 teams that have investor groups backing them, and there's so many that have already applied for trademarks and stuff like that. I think we need to take this time to do it right. And maybe a lot of this other stuff could be fixed by going through organizations and fixing them and having somebody consult with them. But I mean, maybe it just comes from a different commissioner. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a lot of people are really happy with it. I've seen players unhappy with just the WNBA leadership in general. But that's neither here nor there. I would love to see teams take ownership and just be better. Who am I? I'm just a guy. Juice Bunyan Sports Network. Thank you for watching. Follow, like, subscribe, do all those things. I'll continue to put out quick videos on TikTok and Instagram and shorts here when I have content. I'm still continuously researching this next draft class. And boy, is it a good one. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself to the 2027 draft. But boy, oh boy, that draft is going to be ridiculous, and it's going to shock the league, I think, and just take everything to a new level, because these girls are just built different. But I'm excited about this draft. Like I said, more to come, and I'll see y'all next time.